Welcome back to another episode of Day Sports. This week I'm here by myself. Tom is crook as a dog in bed, couldn't get up to do it. So this one is going to be pretty short and sweet. Before we jump into it, make sure you do like, subscribe, all the links to the socials and all that should be in there. Find us anywhere you get your content. Helps us out a lot, particularly liking, helps boost the algorithm for YouTube. So I appreciate it heaps if you do that. Just going to jump really quickly into a round 21 recap. First game on Thursday night. This one, Thursday Skews nearly got me. Storm sweating a win 34-30 over the Chooks. But yeah, so a bit surprising there from the Roosters. They've kind of done that throughout the season though. Every single time they come up against a big team or something like that, you're like, write them off. They'll come out and they'll either win it or they'll get really, really close. In this case, coming really, really close. Daniel Tupu going into the top 5 try scorers in the NRL all-time era. He's pretty much just doing it for fun. I had him down as an anytime try scorer, so that was very easy watching for me. So congratulations to him getting up there. Another great try scored in this one is old Lindsay leap through the air Collins. It's not the first time he's done it. That bloke could be a winger the way that he just glides through the air for a big man. I must say, the only thing it does remind me of is the Space Jam monsters absolutely flying through with a big old dunk, but he gets it done, so it was massive from him. But Storm, they got rocked with a pretty bad injury there. Obviously, Jahrome Hughes going down, dislocating his shoulder. When he went down, it was just super awkward the way that he fell. They've got plenty of strikes throughout the team and a few, other players coming back in and people that can step up into that role. But I think statistically, they're just not the same team without him in there. So big blow for him. I'm not sure if I think they are hoping he's going to be back for finals, but, and supposedly he's going to avoid surgery. So I guess the dislocation, I'm no physio, surprise, but I believe the main concern there is obviously all the different ligaments and everything else that's in there that can get damaged at the same time, so hopefully it's not as bad as I guess other ones can be, but still bad for him. Hopefully he mends up quickly. But what a show Harry Grant put on once Hughesy did go down injured. No Munster, no Paps. I guess only one of the big four kind of left in there. And Harry Grant, he's the captain. He just said, boys, get on my back. We're going the whole way. And he just owned the middle in there. His runs, pass selection, everything. Like, he kept them in that game and arguably, was a massive part, if not won them that as well. So huge from Harry Grant, really showing his class, where a few people have thought he's had maybe a quieter season, even in the Origin series. But yeah, massive from him, really showing what captains are made of in that one. So Storm getting it done. All I've got to say, and Tom and I have spoken about so many times, we need a chair cam, and it would have been a terrible day to be a chair in Bellyache's coaching box, because yeah, that close. And Tom always says it every single time as well, the hectic Fred video about how they're going to give him a heart attack. I reckon that game would have tested him. Cowboys, they beat the Dragons 38-32. This one, they tried their absolute hardest to shit the bed on this one. I thought that the Dragons were going to get it done. I'd tip the Dragons. I just thought Cows, they're all at sea, and they nearly proved me right. I must say, and I will openly admit, on my tipping app, I did forget to change it to the Dragons, so I ended up accidentally picking up the tip, so I'd take those, I suppose. Similar to Harry Grant, though, you got Tommy Dearden there, essentially captain, co-captain, whatever else, like Origin star, absolute heart throbber. He fucking put his best forward for the Cowboys. He really carried them. One thing, I just don't know how the Dragons didn't pick up on it. He's such a destructive attacking runner, but he's like Munster. At this point, he's always going to throw the dummy and go. I don't know how they didn't pick up on that. The amount of times Tommy did and just went show, bang, straighten up through the line. And he is fast as. A few times, like I was going for Dragons. I wanted them to win in that one, just for tipping sake. And the amount of times he just broke through the line and he's just gone. And I think that's how Scotty Drinkwater ended up picking up one of his, just following up through the middle there. Bang, offload, thanks for coming. I was so excited for this Friday night just because like the games of footy, a lot of Queensland teams playing whatever else, and that quickly just took a nosedive after the next one because my Broncos, they lost to the Eels 22-20. Look, I'm going to say props to the Eels. They really turned up on that one. They wanted to win it more. They were more consistent. They played some good footy. Moses made a hell of a difference. Him and Lomax. That's why I back him a lot of the time as well. The two of them together is just a cheat code. Like, ridiculous what he can bring into that side. I was a little bit scared. Obviously chatted a lot of shit, so I've got to take my licks there. But Moses and Suncorp just... they just go together real nice, those two, because he seems to love it and really gets it done. But Broncos, it's just so frustrating to watch week in, week out, depending, sometimes you just don't know, I suppose, what team you're going to get. I thought we were going to put a cricket score on them, and obviously that didn't happen. Broncos just had so many mistakes, and I think, again, I've said it that many times, but that is just so frustrating to watch. Kicking it out on the full, silly pass selection, whatever it might be. And I guess at the same time would be on the other side of the fence if it all came off being like, fuck, that's like the most amazing shit ever. But sometimes when you're, in this bit of a grind, I suppose you just got to knuckle down. But fuck, what do I know, I guess? One of the fucking funny things that came out of this one, though, bit of a shining light, I suppose, was Renault's intercept. He took off. Not gonna lie, I didn't think he was gonna make it, and the commentary on this was hilarious. I think it was Cooper Cronk hitting him with the looks like he's on an inclined treadmill. That's how slow Renault's little legs were going. He was motoring top speed, essentially going nowhere. And he pretty much didn't make it. If it wasn't for the two defenders, I think that got him. Momentum just took him over the line. I was worried. Like, he's touch wood. He's not been injured this whole season, but pretty much an entire field run intercept. I was like, oh, Renault, both hammies are going to be gone. Bones are going to be shattered. He couldn't even take the kick after, but that was pretty good to see that he's still got a bit of life in those old legs. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Corey Oates when he'd get away towards the end of his career, because it'd pretty much be the same thing. Dude would be running but going nowhere fast. With the Broncos, though, like, I think at the moment they're still really trying to figure out the chemistry with, so many cooks in the kitchen there, where you got Ben Hunt, you got Ezra, you got Reese, and obviously Renault in there. And, once Billy kind of comes out on the field, maybe not as much Billy, but you've just got so many players demanding ball, whether they're getting it at the right time. I felt like in this game, Reese, like, you want him to be involved, but I feel like he was too involved in this one, particularly. Like, I think he needs to maybe take a little bit of a step back and let Renault and Ezra kind of call the shots, or even Dozer in that case, just with his experience. I found Reese kicking a lot, maybe a bit too much as well. Maybe I've seen a little bit too much of it. He's got a hell of a boot as well. Some of the bombs that he puts up, I reckon he would challenge Burton when it comes to bombing. Great. Let him do that once every now and again in the sets. Just let him put up an absolute fucked torpy that touches the whole bloody, puts it out of Suncorp Stadium. Let him do that every now and again, but I just don't think he should be the guy that has ball in hand, when you're trying to control the game. But, just one of those things. If they don't bounce back, though, I'm going to need a welfare check or something like that at the end of the week. The ending, though, was this close to being the cruelest thing that I've ever seen for the Eels. Managed to, I forgot even who it was. Kick ended up going through, and Papali'i or Papali, however you pronounce it, went to scoop it up. He's knocked on. Obviously, Reece Walsh has gone through, scooped it up, put it down. The reaction from Madge, everyone in the box, even my reaction was pretty much the exact same. Didn't really think too much of it, and just going from laughing like the cruelest loss you've ever seen, and just a rough win for us. It got turned on its head really, really quickly. And it turns out the night before, obviously, there was the one there with Teddy, and they just looked at the race one for 2 seconds and were like, no, that's it. So it'll be that. And then the Warriors, they pretty much did a Broncos as well. I'm going to skim over these ones that I didn't really get to watch as much. But the Wires basically did a Broncos losing to Titans. So we lost second last. They lost the last 24-16. How good for Desi's 500th, though. Not many people would have picked this. And like I said, they really did a Broncos here. One they should have won. Didn't get it done. Riff pumped the Tigers 36-2. Pretty much just a run of the park. I really thought this one was going to be so much closer than it was. But yeah, clearly, I think we're starting to see the true colours, the stripes, as they would say, for the Tigers. The kick that Nathan Cleary ended up putting through for Isaac Targo was just insane. The curvature on that kick was just ridiculous, and the way that he just manages to find him all the time, like these little trick play kicks and whatever else, just class from Nathan Cleary. Rabbitohs versus Sharks. Sharkies just got it done. I actually would have been off them forever. That is I think I looked, that's the sixth, or maybe that might be the sixth time that I've picked them this year, and if they had lost that, forget about it. That would have been that. Looked like a boring as fuck game from what I could see. I think it was halftime, 2-2 or something like that. Ridiculous. I was worried the Sharks were going to cook this though. It just has them written all over it. Rabbitohs literally have nobody, and they still nearly got it done. That just goes to show. Milk, they flogged the Knights 44-18. This is just becoming week in, week out sort of stuff for the Milk though. They go out there, bit of a battle. Like we've said so many times, they're one half team, and we say that again. I'm pretty sure as well the Knights, they might have even been potentially leading into halftime. It was like 18-16, whatever it was. And then all second half comes in and they just go bang, 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 bang. Like that is just literally what they like to do. Ended up 44-18. You think they just pumped them the entire time. You wouldn't think it was that super close. And then the last one of the round, Doggies, they flogged the fuck out of the Manly Seagulls. And yeah, so to all the Manly simps out there on the TikTok that were carrying on a little bit, oh, they've actually won 3 in a row. This is your team. This is what they are truthfully like, and you are barking mad if you think it is any different with that. Doggies, I think they're starting to click more and more, obviously, with Galba there. The longer he's going to be playing there, it's not rocket science. It's going to go better. Manly just, I don't know, you're just hot and cold, and that's what that team is. So that's exactly what they got, and they got their pants pulled down and absolutely spanked. So yeah, rough one. I don't think even Manly fans can defend that one. It was just an absolute touch up. Not a whole lot of sporting news going around the grounds. What I did see today though is my boy Chatty Townsend has decided to hang the boots up at the end of 2025. So massive career from him. I guess he's going to very easily settle into a bit of a golf guy, a bit of a podcast guy, a bit of a social media guy. So massive congrats on Chad. Hope he kills it. Definitely doesn't deserve all the shit that he cops online. So I think he's very much going to enjoy retirement, getting really stuck into his work and that. So yeah, good on you, Chatty. And then that brings into the round 22 preview. So we're starting to really get to the business end of the season now. Need a bit to go right now for the Broncos to make the top 4, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Thursday night, we got Eels versus Storm. This one, Combank. Let me actually bring this up. I forgot who they brought in on the new team. Let me have a look. Who's number 7? Yeah, Wishy, like I thought it'd be. Yep. So Wishy, he comes into 7 there, obviously with Jahrome Hughes out. We've got Munster back in, Paps back in, so that's huge from them. That is, like, the personnel coming back in is ridiculous. Eels obviously coming off a really good win. I question whether or not they're going to be able to do this 2 weeks in a row. Master versus Apprentice, though, again, in this one, you got Rylesy up against Bellyache, but Storm, I think they're going to get it done. I don't think it's going to be huge. I think Eels are going to be in the fight a lot like the Broncos. I'm going to go with that 1-12 in this one. It is niggling at me a little bit that it's a weird one that the Eels could pick up, but you would think surely not in this case. Try scorer wise, I think Ryan Pappenhausen coming back in, he's going to be cruisy as. I feel like he doesn't score as much without Hughesy, but Wishy, maybe he'll actually hand off one of those dummies that he usually hits and go over from there. But everything else, like, they're pretty full strength. They got Jonah Peasant there at 17, so they can always shuffle things around if they feel like it. Momax, though, a bit saucy. Keeping Dean Hawkins there at the 6, so I guess it's gone very much if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of stuff from them. But it'll be very interesting. But yeah, I feel like it will actually be a little bit close. Over to New Zealand, Waz versus the Finns. I actually have written down Waz 1-12, but I think I'm going to backflip on this one. I'm going to go Dolphins 1-12 on this one because there are so many outs on the side for the Warriors. Because looking at this, they have no Wade Egan, which I think is going to massively affect their attack. No James Fisher-Harris, obviously, in the middle, and then no Chanel Harris-Tavita. So a half that's pretty much been there for the entire season. So going in there is Tiari Martin and Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd obviously been in there for the last few weeks, but I think that's a big guy that you're missing there. And yeah, that's going to be a little bit tough. And you're coming off a rested Dolphins team that have been, they can be a little bit hit and miss, but at the same time, they got a shit ton of points in them. So if the Warriors aren't on their P's and Q's, could a 50-point curse be coming their way? Because Dolphins are like the bloody reaper of this bloody season. They're just knocking on each door, knocking over teams, bang, 50 points put on them. That's why they're for and against is like 160 plus or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I'm going to go with them 1-12. I reckon he literally just can't stop scoring. Loves finding the line, the hammer side Tabi Waipita. I think he's going to go over any time. This is the last game from Broncos. Again, at prime time slot versus the Rabbitohs at Suncorp. This is, I think, their third last home game, whatever it might be, but absolute must win for us. If we don't win this, like I said, I'm going to need a Broncos straitjacket because I'll be fucking losing my mind. Pretty much must win for us to be any chance at making the top 4 at this stage. it should be one that we pick up. So I'm going to go Broncos 13 plus. Again, the Rabbitohs literally have nobody left on this planet. Wayne Bennett is actually playing on the Sting at this point. Like, that is the point that they've gotten to. Payne Haas, he's been named. What has Big Payne got to do to get a rest at this point, though? Like, legit, it is wild that they're still running him out there. I feel like we can cover him at least for a week. Like, on these games that we should be winning, that we don't need Payne Haas for, probably a good time to, like, let him rest. He's probably competitive, probably wants to be out there, but it's like, we need him come finals. I don't see us winning a grand final if we don't have Payne Haas, or at least getting deep in the finals without Payne Haas. Particularly when the Rabbitohs have absolutely nothing. Broncos, they need to turn up at home in Brisbane, because I feel like, Suncorp really needs to be that fortress for them. They've arguably been almost better on the road, I feel. I'd have to look at some stats. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I feel like, at least feel-wise, it's been there. You've got Xavier Willison keeping his spot in the starting team there. Now, this was something wild that did come out of the team list this week for the Broncos. Both wingers have been dropped. So, Karapani, gone. Arthur's gone. You got Sun Cobo and Dean Mariner coming in. So, some people have floated maybe Arthur's is, still a bit of a niggly injury, but I think just the way that he's been playing, maybe that's got a little bit to do with it. I think a lot of people blamed the bounce of the ball. People, well, obviously, not Ezra, man. Reece Walsh didn't catch stuff last week, but maybe Madge looked at the boys in the wing and just gone, well, you're not doing what you need to be doing. Cobo, he'll catch a ball, that's for sure. A little bit sometimes, but so huge for him to make his way back into the team. Again, Rabbitohs are just missing so many people. So surely we get this one done. And I just hope Payne Haas holds up and all the boys get through this injury free. But if we lose this one, we are in fucking trouble. Alrighty. Titans versus the Riff. This should be a piss easy game, you'd think, for Penrith. I'm going to go with them 13 plus. Oh, and the Broncos game, I'm going to go Ezra Mann to score. But yeah, so it should be easy. It should be the easiest walk in the park. But I'm hoping, I'd love to see a little bit of Titans woo in the Gold Coast type of thing that they tend to do every now and again and just snag a little win at home. That would be huge, because Penrith have managed to take over the Broncos on points, which just makes my brain hurt considering the way that they started the season. So yeah, really hoping they turn up again. Rocks and diamonds with them, honestly. Like I said, should be easy. I'm going to go with Tago to score any time for the Riff. Dragons versus the Milk. I'm going to go with the Milk 1-12. This is at Woo Woo Win Stadium, though, which is a little bit scary if you go for the Raiders, or you're going to be back in the Raiders in this one. I can see the Dragons keeping this pretty gritty, pretty close, similar to last week where they might not get the chockies, but they very well could be there. I can see them kind of, very similar the way that these Canberra games have begun. Stick out with the team, they're pretty level, and then it's going to come into the second half and they're just going to go, there's 20 points in like 15 minutes type of thing. So I can see that happening. Now, let me see if my try score is going to be in there. Yes, Chris Sebastian. I'm going to go with him any time in this one. That rolls through to Manly versus the Roosters. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this at all. Honestly, flip a coin. This one could very well go either way. Manly at home, Roosters. I'm going to go with the Roosters 1-12 with not a ton of confidence, but I don't know. Manly is just, again, flip a coin. Which one are you going to get? Are you going to get the one that might win 34-6, or are they going to get dusted at home like 42-4? It's hard to tell these days. It's honestly anyone's. Roosters, I reckon, are going to be a little bit more likely. I feel like they've had maybe a slight bit more form this season, if you can even call it that, whatever the hell they've been doing. I've got just no faith in Manly at all. I've really got no faith in either of these teams at all. But I'm going to go with the try-scoring machine, Daniel Tupou, to get over anytime. And then we got Tigers versus the Bulldogs for the second last one of the week. I'm going to go Doggies. 13 plus in this one. I think we're seeing the real Tigers at the moment, like I said, and that is not a good thing. It's a little bit more like the Tigers of old. I do see they get Jahrome Buller back in, so that should maybe open up the attack a little bit, but I just can't imagine they're going to be able to get it past the Doggies and do all that. Doggies, again, I feel like they're just building more and more, trying to warm into this final season. Galvin, as long as he doesn't break against his old club. Actually, that's something I didn't think about. Actually, it's going to be the return against the Tigers, so this could be interesting. I'll be scared. He's probably painted a target on his back. Probably watch out for Batman. He might try to snap him in half. But no, they should be sweet. I think it'll be okay. I'm going to go with them 13 plus. Oh, that is one cool thing that did come out for the Doggies. Connor Tracy is potentially out for the rest of the season. 4 to 6 weeks? I think they've said he's got like some hemorrhage or whatever the hell. I hope I didn't say hemorrhage over hemorrhoids. Whatever it is, hemorrhage. Whatever the hell's happening to him, like internal, whatever nearly needed surgery, and he literally can't train, do anything. So that's super rough for him. Hopefully he's going to be back for finals time. So Kiraz, I believe, has moved into the fullback. So a little bit of a different look, but he's a man that can do a job there. I think you can put Kiraz pretty much in just about any position at this stage, and he's going to be good. But yeah, I reckon 13 plus, and I reckon Kiraz is going to cross over for the Doggies. Last game on the Sunday. Do you really want to watch this one? That's the real question. Sharkies versus the Cows. I must say, I'm tempted to pick the Cows in this one, but the defense just leaks too many points for me. Sharks, historically are quite a defensive side, so I'm going to go with them 1 to 12 in this. But at the same time, really, really screams one that the Sharks could drop. Cowboys, they're desperate trying to keep their season together. They need pretty much everything for them moving forward. It's going to be must win. Can Tommy Dearden as well, with a couple troops back? With a couple back, forwards and whatever else, can they rally for a finals chance? I don't think they can. I think they leak more points than any other team. Basically, it's like, oh, cool. Their attacks are not too bad. They'll score like 30 points, but they'll leak 34 at the same time. So, and Sharks definitely, in the right mood, can put a couple on there. But I'm going to go with them 1 to 12 at home, like I was saying. And Cora to cross over anytime he's coming back from, I think, a HIA, loves to score a try. Nico Hines is going to put him through a nice little lawn, and he'll cross over. Alrighty, and that gets to the bet of the week. Again, this one is sharp, short, and quick without Tom. Not a whole lot to talk about anyway. Pretty much was always just going to be recap straight into tips. The only thing, like I said, was Chatty Townsend. But yeah, bet of the week. This one, keeping it super simple and two unlikely-ish scores, but people that have been crossing a lot recently. So I'm going to go with Billy the Difference, Bilbo Baggins Walters, who is paying about $3.60, and every single time he comes on, he cannot help himself. And I think against a basically unmanned Rabbitohs side, he's going to fly over for sure. And then in a must-win, I'm going to go with Tommy Dearden to crossover anytime. Show, bust through the line, crossover. Thank you very much for coming. You put those two boys together, you're going to get $14.51. For two try scorers, I'll take that. I reckon that is absolutely huge. So those are my bets this week. But yeah, that pretty much brings it to the end of this one. Again, thank you very much if you got this far. Make sure you do like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. Hopefully Tom is alive and kicking next week, and catch you next week. Hooroo.